I think we are live.
Mm, right. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. On today's Laravel Spotlight, we have Dheeraj with us. He will introduce himself.
Hi, Punibal. Hello, everyone. I'm Dheeraj. I'm Dheeraj. I'm DevOps engineer. I used to be full stack developer previously, and now I work with the EPAM as a senior system engineer. And today I'm with Punipal, and we are connected to Laravel India community. And today we are going to discuss both fusion of both the word Laravel and DevOps, and the power of Laravel with the scaling of DevOps and things like that. So it will be interesting session for now. So happy to jump in.
Yeah. So, like before going with some Q&A with the Dheeraj, let me introduce like how our stream schedule is. So, from Monday to Friday, I do a solo stream where I work on some open source projects or build some packages or explore something. On Saturdays, we have a Laravel Spotlight series where some guest is there and they talk about some particular topic. It can be showcasing the package, or it can be showing some projects, or it can be something their area of expertise, right? So that's how it works. And after that we have a Sunday. Right now we have a We Must Ship Shirip series, and tomorrow we will have one more episode of it. So you can join it that also, right? And let me ask something to Dheeraj, like from which year he is with the Laravel and PHP ecosystem.
Okay, so in PHP ecosystem, I'm working since 2013 with core PHP, and then switched to Codeigniter for a long time. And after 2018, I worked on Laravel until 2021, and then switched to DevOps. And there I started using Laravel or Codeigniter based on the use case to make some small tools, dashboards based on the necessary. If it need a powerful one, then definitely I'll go for Laravel. Otherwise, smaller one I can just do the prototyping with Codeigniter, so things like that. So it was all based
Okay.
on the need. Yeah.
So are you like working with DevOps from the starting, or you switched in between? Like, I mean,
Yes. So once I was in the like software development full stack, then I got lead. I become lead. I got team, and then like smaller tasks I started giving to team, and I started managing the AWS part. Then I thought about, okay, so what we can do most with the code is limited, but what we can do with the DevOps is very much infinite. So that's where I
mhm,
thought to, okay, I know I can solve problem with the code. I have done it. Whatever is the business logic I can definitely write, but there will be point of to scale. So then I got inclined with the DevOps, where I start to learning how small services of software can be dedicated is available dedicatedly in the cloud. For example, earlier we used to have same server for the database, but now we have dedicated database services for us. Same goes for plenty of like email. We have SCS, where we don't have to think about how much email we can send. Okay, so there is a
right.
CloudWatch, CloudFront, everything is there. So I thought, okay, now we are bringing like breaking up small stuff and like doing it exponentially at scale.
Mhm.
So there I got interested, and then CI/CD, auto scaling, things like that started coming, and I was totally into. I thought to let's jump to the DevOps. The experience of software development is quite crucial for me in DevOps, because I know I can talk to the dev team and I can suggest them architect of the application, so that in DevOps I can plan for their dedicated service or their dedicated hosting of that service, and so that I can scale instead of like stucking up and then doing the revamp later on once we are stuck. So this
Mhm.
experience for me is really very beneficial in terms of like as a DevOps. Yeah.
So like uh, what you can say is like I mean, uh, what was the biggest bill you got from the AWS till
Uh,
date? I mean, was it intentional or it was like some mistake or something like that?
Yeah, both intentional and non-intentional. Both the bill we got. I don't remember it, but I was working with a startup, and they said we can't pay the bill. We have to shut down the start this startup. But I know that the AWS team is quite generous. Since
Right.
that was something from the mistake, so I stayed calm. I talked to everybody. Okay, let me handle this, and then I got in touch with the AWS team. They are like there is a shared responsibility, and in the AWS they talk about like, okay, there is some responsibility of yours as well to manage the resource, and there is
Right.
some security responsibility from our side. So we work together. We fix all the issues that we had, and then we shared each other what we have done, what we will do in the future, and then based on that they fortified our additional cost whatever we had. Like
Right.
95% of the cost was additional for that month. So yeah, everything was normal in few days, like that. Yeah.
Right. So they shut down the startup or it's still running?
No, no, yeah, everything is working well. Yes.
And which was the intentional? Like
uh,
or what?
Intentional basically. Yeah, there were some processes which I gave totally full control to the data science team, and because I didn't had much detail what they were doing. They just asked, okay, we need
Mm-hmm.
EC2 or this machine and this database for this and this purpose, and they did something else, and suddenly everything spiked up. So then I
Right.
started doing close discussion with them, what exactly they are doing, what they are planning, and then I started putting more restrictions and suggesting them more and more options instead of just doing
Mm-hmm.
giving full responsibility of what of
Right.
the source. Yeah.
So like it is like when your queries are slow, the CPU goes high, right?
Right,
Kind of
right,
like
right,
so.
right.
It was like something like when you put like the double inverted comma or a single inverted comma in a query,
Mhm.
and the CPU goes down. Like, is there any scenario like that?
Not like that exactly, but basically there were process. It was we were using MongoDB at that time. So the process was doing storage to the MongoDB at the runtime. That was producing high IO, and that was causing the uh, very high bill for us. So later on, we come up with the solutions. Okay, we'll do the processing separately, and we'll store the separately. We won't engage the database unnecessary things like that. We planned later on. Then our bill got reduced by 80% after that. So
Yeah, right.
we had 200 of such processes. So solving one problem and then scaling it to 200 machines
Right.
drastically reduced our bill.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. So if you was not into the Laravel, what you were doing? I
Okay.
mean, if you are not in the DevOps or the Laravel, let's say Laravel first.
Okay, so I might have got to another full stack of web application stack, any other stack might be.
Mm-hmm.
It was surprise for me that I was not using Laravel earlier. I was just using the code igniter. Then okay, I reached to the limitations. Okay, I cannot do anything much more than what code igniter provides. And the journey to shifting to the Laravel was also very subtle. For example, I got to know about the Laravel. I got to know about what Laravel offers. I didn't jump into the Laravel directly. For example, there is a telescope in Laravel. There is a queues in Laravel. There are lots of events in Laravel. Okay, so I was very fascinated, and I got to know, okay, these are solving lots of problems. But I'm at the coding nature, so I made lots of modules what Laravel already had in my existing code igniter application.
Right.
I made queues, I made events, I made batch processing, everything in the coordinator, just seeing the okay, everything is in the Laravel, but I have this application running. I cannot jump overnight, so I solved lots of problem in my application. Then switched to the Laravel, not exactly switched, but started using the Laravel for other purposes. If not Laravel, if Laravel would not be in my way at that time, I might have went to the Node or any other, or might be went to the some other low
Photography.
level photography you are bringing up here. Okay. Yeah. So,
Uh,
okay, if you are just talking about the career, that's a different. But yeah, there are lots of options. Photography, I learned just mobile photography, the composition part. Now I'm learning the drumming part. So it's been a year,
yeah,
and I'm doing lots of practice right now. So
I show
I,
your story
yeah,
before
so
few
I
days
think
ago.
in 6 months or something, I'll be much more proficient with the like handling the stick. Earlier, I was just playing some songs, but new teacher came in like 6 7 months back, and he said, "Forget everything. Let me teach you how to handle the sticks." So like all the technique he threw away, and then I am just learning the stick how I can
Hmm.
learn a lot with
From the
stick.
six
Okay,
months.
yes, just stick how I can do and control the sticks, my legs and everything, all the four limbs.
Right.
Yeah. So okay, so that's a different story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead with the today's topic.
Mhm. Sure.
Hmm.
So we were discussing okay what we can share with our audience on Saturday. What would be the best topic? And then we came up okay, money is important. So let's talk about the cost part,
Right.
where it's a nightmare for DevOps and both software engineer in terms of when talking about the scale of the application. So we started to explore, and I'll share some of the approach that Laravel can go while scaling, and what component of the Laravel we can scale, and how we can think of the optimization part. Okay,
Okay. So
yeah. I'll jump in. What I'll do is I'll share my screen, okay, and then I'll show just the AWS console and things that we have in the AWS. Okay, we'll focus on AWS mostly, and then I'll discuss what problems we have, and then what are the solutions that we might be looking for in terms of optimization of the cost. Okay,
right.
so let me jump in and share my screen. So yeah, okay. I
Yeah,
think
I
screen
can
is
see your
visible.
screen.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, so first thing first, we our topic is going beyond EC2. So I'll take a step back as well. If I talk about the going beyond the EC2, that means there will be some scenario where we need to deploy the Laravel application in dev mode or test mode, okay, where we need limited functionality of the Laravel, or only few of us in the team are using. But EC2 is even more expensive for that scenarios, and
Mm-hmm.
at that time we cannot like think of auto scaling and things like that. So first thing, I'll suggest something that we have in AWS, which is called light sail. Okay,
Okay. Is it
so
something new or it is like
no, no,
existing for the long?
I'm using it since very long time, and this is
Mm-hmm.
EC. This is made on the top of EC2, but have very predictive pricing. Okay,
Okay.
and lots of stuff are already managed here. Unlike
Mm-hmm.
EC2, where you have to configure everything, here you can
Right.
suggest. Here you can select Linux, and then
Ubuntu or Windows. Yeah.
exactly. So you can select exactly what stack you need. So everything will be pre-installed for
Mm-hmm.
you. Okay. So
Okay.
I can just go for the lamp, and
LAMP.
entire PHP and stack will be installed for you.
So
Same
it,
goes for
it will install a
CS.
PHP 8.3.19. as
Yes,
I can see. Yeah.
yes, exactly. So this PHP version and MySQL and then Apache and
Hmm.
everything will be installed for you.
Hmm.
It will give
I
you
think
the.
you can zoom a bit, I guess.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so this will give you a pre-installed PHP LAMP stack basically.
Hmm.
Same goes for
Right.
other stack as well. And if you just want OS, then you can select from any of the available OS. Okay.
Right.
So this is where predictable pricing is there. So I can just
Hmm.
select the PHP 8, and then I can select the key that we have, and here is the pricing. That this is the fixed pricing.
So okay.
It's just
So
like
it is
that.
something like it is something similar to shared hosting, right?
Shared hosting exactly, but in AWS.
Yeah.
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 So even EC2, if something goes wrong, your bill is going to be higher, right? Based on the
Yeah.
either
Right.
based on the how much
Yeah.
memory and CPU you are using. Okay.
Right.
So like that. So here you have that peace of mind. Okay, because it is a test application and if I just choose a $7 machine, then it won't cost on the machine part. We'll just have
Ah.
to optimize the
So
application, or we
even
can.
even for first 3 months are free, right?
Exactly, for first three
Yeah.
months are free for first three small machine. And
Hmm.
then yes, and the largest machine is like this, 4 terabyte data transfer, 64 gi- gigabyte of memory. So enough of the use case of the like test,
Right.
enough of the test case will be covered for you. Dev team can use
Right.
this one, not
So
only.
basically, yeah, basically if you have side project or a blog, right, you can go
Right,
with $5 or $7
exactly,
package,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
So you don't have to go for the other services, especially in future. If you want to move it to the EC2, then you can do that as well. For example, now
Right.
your
Once,
application is
yeah.
going, then what you can do is you can convert this machine into the AMI, and then you can
Right.
launch new machine from that AMI.
Okay. So it will just move your application to the EC2, right?
Yeah. This machine will
And
entire machine will be packed into the AMI, and then you can launch
right.
EC2 from through that AMI. Yes.
I hope it is not internet.
And apart from that, you can select tags and everything. So this is about the machine. This is about the machine. Besides the EC2, you also have the containers database. So you can also launch database as well. So for example, I can create the database, MySQL database, and same way we have predictable pricing for the database. So here we have again 15, 30, 60, and $115. So same way, you can create the database. You can also have a storage like a small replica of entire big AWS. So you have storage
Right.
where you have fixed storage. Either you can opt for the bucket for the object storage, or you can create a disk and
Right.
attach to any of the machines
This.
that we have. Okay. And
Right.
then in networking, actually earlier it was just instance when I was using. Then it added database, then it added storage and
Okay.
networking. So you can
Hmm.
also create static IP, load balancer,
So
everything.
static IP will charge you, right?
No. So if it is
Okay.
if it is unused, then only you will be charged.
What? Wait.
So everywhere, if you create the static IP and you don't use it, then it will be
Hmm.
charged. Otherwise, you won't be charged.
Okay.
Even
So
in
yeah.
EC2, even in EC2. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, so static IP basically is it's limited resource in the internet. So either you use it or you destroy it. It's like that. If you buy it and keep it in safe, then you have to pay for that. Even in EC2, sometimes
Ah.
you delete the machine, you keep the static IP as
Right.
is, then you will start charge. What is this $5 charges a month for that? Okay, this is
Hmm.
static IP which I'm not
Yeah,
using.
elastic IP. Like I heard of elastic IP or
Yeah,
something
that
like
is
that.
exactly. Static IP is elastic IP is same.
Yeah.
In EC2
Yeah.
context, you call it elastic IP, EIP.
Hmm.
In over here,
Right.
you call it static IP because every time you restart the instance, it will launch a new machine, right?
Yeah.
It will launch a new machine, and it not new machine. Sorry, it will launch. It will have new IP
New
address.
instance.
It will have new IP address. So to prevent that, we create a static IP and then attach to the instance. So
Right.
it's like that. So this is the small start. We what you can do in the AWS if you have limited scope of
Hmm.
machine and usage. Okay,
Right.
this is one thing. Okay, so
So is it compatible to Laravel Forge, or I mean, I don't know. I mean.
not sure, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you have, it's just like EC2. So whatever EC2 can do, I think this can do. So somebody
So
has to.
yeah,
Mhm.
it is like now uh based on like how Laravel Forge is working. I mean, if they have provided the service, it will be there. I mean,
Right,
that is what.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. So we have now EC2. So EC2. Okay. So we'll talk about how like what is why we are talking about going beyond EC2. Okay. So
Mm.
first thing first, we have to launch EC2 manually. So there are like
Right.
ways. There are ways where you can automate the launch of the EC2 using multiple services like Terraform or uh, uh, services of AWS that we have, cloud formation, things like that. But again, you have to manage the EC2 manually, patch it manually, take the backup manually, things like that. So you can do that once you have one machine. But once you are talking about the scale where you have multiple machines or horizontally scaling EC2, then you cannot do that. Okay, so you have to
Right.
do it. Then you can not think about the EC2 in the long run.
Right.
Also, an op team is needed for the backups and everything, things like that. You will be charged for the if you are keeping the EC2 size for the high end traffic, then for the other time you will be charged more. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
either it is overutilization or underutilization, both is not
Right.
good for you in terms of
Mm-hmm.
cost. Okay, and also why it's not just EC2 that we have for the Laravel. We can correct. We can have multiple other. We have now multiple options in the AWS where you can host Laravel. One option, smaller option I talked about is Light Sail already. Other
Yeah.
options that will be going to explore what other options we have apart from the
Yeah.
EC2. Okay, so we have also option of like we can containerize the Laravel application. Okay, make a Docker
Mm.
image of it, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
use the ECS. Okay, uh,
Okay. ECS. Mm-hmm.
yes. So we have container service. So container service is basically it will have the container, but you have to decide where this container is going to be hosted or running. So we have two options
Okay.
for the container. So either this container,
Mm-hmm.
so this is a cluster. Okay, I'll just do this. Just a second. ECS architecture. What we can do is, if I show you how ECS is. So basically, ECS is a cluster, and it can have EC2s behind the scene. Okay, so your container will be deployed on the EC2 machines. Okay, that's the one option, and that is
Right.
EC2 machine. You have to decide what EC2 machine will be there. If you suggest the five EC2 machine, then it will scale to up to that five EC2 machine only. Again, you have that limitations, minimum
Mm-hmm.
and maximum limitations. But if you see ECS diagram and then add the Fargate in the scenario, so what it will do is EC2 Fargate is scalable. So it's a dynamic where your
Okay.
container, whatever number of container you want to run, it you have to pay for only that amount of
Mm-hmm.
resource that is being used. Instead,
Right.
like in EC2, you have to add EC2 in that multiplication only. Like if you have medium, then you have to pay for three medium, four medium,
Right.
large, three medium, four medium. Even if it is not being that much used that much, but if we use the Fargate, it is serverless service, kind of
Mm-hmm.
serverless container service, where you
Right.
can like put the Laravel application and it will go scale and also it will like downsize and upsize automatically, and the cost
Mhm.
will be optimized for you in that case.
Right.
Yeah, so that's one option. uh, uh, and another option we can we were discussing about, what if we make the Laravel application serverless entirely. So
Okay.
we have Laravel, like we have AWS Lambda function, where we can do lots of stuff. We can make the lots of functions, and that functions are serverless. So there is a thing called Bref.sh.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a service where this can make the sorry, this can make the PHP serverless. Okay, my bad. Sorry. Let's jump into the documentation.
Mm.
And this support Laravel out of the box.
Mm. If you want to have a water, you can. I mean, so till then, you guys can ask any questions if you have, right? And of course, also we have an announcement to do. So yeah, if you want to do that, like, uh, so stay tuned for that, right? Also, yeah, he's back.
Sorry, my throat
Yeah,
is messed up. So,
it's okay. Let's go.
so
Mm.
it supports Laravel out of the box. So we have file storage handling, Laravel queues, Octane, Laravel passport, everything.
Mm-hmm.
We can there is a serverless.yml file, and you can configure this file for various Laravel services, and it
Right.
will make it serverless. And then we have
Mm-hmm.
deployment steps for, yeah, it is having deployment step, like after doing everything serverless deploy, you get some commands out of the box, and then using this you can deploy your Laravel application on Lambda. I think this serverless.yml file that we have, this will have all the credentials for the AWS, and whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want to have, whatever service fee you want to have, and IAM roles. Like
Yeah.
for example, this have the IAM role for the storage, and for the queues, you can use the SQS that we have, and then everything is configurable.
Yeah.
You can see that. So this option I think is really good. Apart from the other Laravel serverless application that we have, so this
Yeah.
one we can use, and I don't need to explain the like benefit of the serverless application. Uh,
Yeah.
so in terms of scaling, either you have zero user or you have a million of user, you can scale, and also it
Mm.
provides some it has some monthly free number of requests that you can utilize, and this will also help you in the cost. So this is one of the use case. So best use case for this one is the APIs. If your application is consists of the only backends APIs, so this one is really good. If you have event architecture, where SNS and SQS is more, or
Mm-hmm.
you have S3 file storage or triggers. Like
Right.
if you upload something and it needs to process something, then this sort of application, this like you can package those services into the separate application. You can upload those applications to the Laravel, to the AWS Lambda using Bref, and then you can trigger those applications
Right.
instead of like keeping the entire Laravel. So once you scale any application, so yeah, then you cannot think in monolithic way. You have to divide those application services, and then you have to think uh, quite a bit of detail, like all the details of that service, and then you can choose what architecture or what resource or what platform that service will be having best
Right.
for optimization for the for running and for cost as well. So if not entire Laravel application, then things like whatever is being used on the triggered way events and things like that, you can package those separately, and then you can use it serverlessly. So this will save you a lot,
Right.
and
Hmm.
this will lighten up your main Laravel application and
Right.
the use of that. Okay, for example, some
Okay.
stuff you do at the night or in the backend, like for 12 to 3 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so this sort of application you can trigger, or uh, if the file is uploaded, then you have to do certain stuff with the file. So this sort of application will be much more convenient to use with the Lambda function, I think.
Right.
Yeah. So it
So
and one more thing, I was talking to separate out this sort of application because it doesn't have any dependency on the user's action and result. For example, it might need a cold start. Okay, but since it is already doing the processing of the batch or queue or events, so cold start won't affect the user directly, right? For example, if you want to send the like a bunch of mails or notifications in the background, then this sort of application can even delay the process, so it won't affect
right.
the user directly, right?
Hmm.
So, and you can avoid the long running processes on this application, this sort of application. Like you should not use the WebSockets where
Right.
it is a long running process, right? Yeah.
Hmm. Perfect. So can you give a like short intro of 30 to 60 second of Bref? Like I mean, Bref.
Okay, so let's jump in together.
Hmm.
Basically, here we can see to run a PHP application, we have to have a server where I was talking that we have to configure LAMP and maintain and install all the packages or the plugins that we need to run that PHP application, right? And we need to have fixed price for the server, scale the server to get more traffic, things like that. When we want to run the server, want to run it serverlessly, then what Bref will do is it will download some of the package, and then it will do the binary part, packaging part behind the scene, and the CLI that it provides, it do everything in the backend, and then it package your application to deploy on the AWS Lambda basically. So
Right.
yeah, so bref.sh is a site
Hmm.
anybody can go jump in and try.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
provides like
So
you lots of use case. I was talking APIs, WebSocket, workers, batch processing, things like that. Yeah.
yeah. So I will provide this into the comments. So yeah,
Mhm.
you can access anytime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Hmm.
So apart from this main Laravel optimization, we can jump into the database optimization. So I will also talk about the auto scaling in terms of if you are using EC2 even. I will also include the auto scaling part. So what we can look for is ELB plus auto scaling.
Hmm. So okay. So like one of the person is asking something. So should I share
Mhm.
the question?
Sure, sure, sure.
So he's saying that why doesn't AWS Lambda natively support the PHP as a runtime like Node.js and Python?
Uh, that's a question that I was looking for since long time. Maybe
Hmm.
issue with a like binary or something. It has to do with something architecture of the PHP or say yeah, something with to deal with the binary that PHP have, or the dependency that PHP have. That could be one of the reason. And use case, like most important is the use case. Like lots of Node or Python application you see have lots of use case, especially like PHP is a web application that have entirely support of the end-to-end connection from database to like lots of stuff work together. But if you use Python or say Java or say Node, it is much more of a general purpose language. So not just web application, you can make lots of stuff in those language. And now we have lots of updates in the Laravel where we can use the PHP for various purpose, like even for the native. But
Mm.
those applications like Python can do lots of stuff independently, and that doesn't need to have a web application or database usage
Right.
all the time. Same goes for the with the Java. Same goes with the Node. So that is much more of general purpose language that can do lots of stuff, and that can do lots of independent small stuff that PHP didn't had the use case. Maybe in future we can have, but yeah, this might
Mm.
need some more updates in the PHP in the future, where we can have much more specific functionality of the PHP instead of having entire package that we have to use right now.
Right.
Right. For example, PHP we have to use with the Apache and or Nginx or MySQL. So this all entire package is needed, but serverless is for very small functions. So
Right.
in future, if PHP gets more evolved, much more independent, then definitely we'll see that in our Lambda natively.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I was just jumping into the auto scaling part. So I'll quickly, okay, I'll show this one. So basically, auto scaling, where we have EC2, instead of using the single EC2, we can use the EC2 behind the load balancer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this load balancer will have a group of EC2 called auto scaling group or say target group. And this here we can define how many minimum or maximum machines we need. Okay. And based on our budget and requirement, and based on the traffic that it gets on the elastic load balancer, it will divert the traffic, and auto scaling will do the auto scaling. Okay. So for example, in auto scaling we can configure, okay, after 80% launch a new machine. Okay. After, if the CPU usage or entire overall usage goes below 30%, then drop a machine, like delete the or scale down the machine, basically things like
Right.
that. So that is called horizontal scaling. So for example, you can have this machine as a medium machine, but it will launch more and more medium machine instead
Right.
of like scaling up this medium machine to large or x large. Okay. So
Right.
this
So.
this is one of the important use case. That first
Mm-hmm.
thing we do as a web developer or managing the web applications on the EC2. This is the first thing we do, and later on we pivot to the more part, like we introduce Docker, use the ECS Fargate that I was talking about. Okay, so that's the use case for EC2. Let's jump into the database part. So what are options we have? So for example, there is a RDS. So earlier you must be seeing RDS, but now we have Aurora and RDS. So
Yeah.
I'll quickly introduce what is Aurora and RDS. So we had lots of limitation. For example, you see these two, Aurora with MySQL, Aurora with PostgreSQL is the new. Okay, earlier it was just MySQL. Okay, so we had issue with the database earlier. What is that? We can scale the EC2 machines. Lots of machine we can add horizontally, But once when it was coming to the MySQL part, we had to do it manually. Okay,
Right.
and that manual upgrade was a time taking. It involves some downtime, things like that. So what I see in Aurora is it is providing a serverless database. Okay, and this
Okay.
is like game changer for the database
So
part.
I seen that like I mean the Postgres is like in Postgres it is possible to keep it in hibernate when like there are no requests, right? In
Right,
MySQL it is not possible. So it with Aurora MySQL it is possible to do
right,
that. You mean?
right. So
Mm-hmm.
just let's jump into the Aurora MySQL. Okay, I'll use say production database and everything. Over here you have option of serverless. For example, this is either memory optimized, you have to select the machine. For brustable you have to select the machine, but for serverless you can just
Mm-hmm.
specify minimum and maximum time, and then you have pause after inactivity. This one,
Okay.
that part you were talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So after 5 minutes it will pause the machine, and
Right.
it will save lots in cost part. So we
Yeah.
can define the minimum maximum limit for the capacity, and then it will do the scaling, and it changed nothing, just we need to have
Right.
the new
So yeah.
host name.
So
Yeah.
someone is asking that what about Raft, for example? Can we apply Raft, for example, with the MySQL or Postgres? RFT, Raft.
uh, Not sure. Not sure on this part. I think it supports internally, but I think I have to look into that part internally how it works. Yeah, yeah. I can answer that question later on in the comment. We can have that. But yeah, exactly question. Can you share the exact question again?
Yeah, I think now we are able to see. What about the Raft example? Can we apply Raft, for example, with the MySQL or Postgres?
Just a
You
second.
can see the chats as well.
Just a second. I cannot see chat actually over here in reverse in this.
There is a like chat option, right?
Yeah, but I don't see any chat here.
There are in a live stream chat. I mean,
Okay, okay, live stream chat. Just a second. Huh?
okay, we can skip for now. Maybe there was
Okay.
another question like, can you show maybe how to deploy build CI/CD pipeline, for example? I think it's unrelated, but if you want to do that, you
How
can.
to deploy or build CI/CD pipeline, for example? Yes, it's unrelated, but
Mm.
definitely we can have discussion later on as well. But yeah, for CI/CD pipeline, we have multiple options. Either we can use the GitHub Action or GitLab CI or Jenkins. How we can deploy, how we can demonstrate. So if you can just look for the Google, sorry, GitHub Action and Laravel deploy, you'll see some article, and you will have this sort of actions, and where you can, it's basically you can select the machine, and then it will have all the command that is needed to run, and this basically this deploy.yml file, it will be in your repository, and in GitHub basically this will use this file, and it will do the deployment automatically. We can discuss this later on in some other video. It's a bit unrelated. Yeah. So can we proceed?
Yeah,
Yeah. So this was, I was talking about the auto scaling part. Okay. So not auto scaling part. Yeah, I was talking about the serverless database. So yeah, from minimum to maximum, you can specify the capacity, and then based on that, You will have very optimized database. Even for the non-activity, it will be charged zero. For the number of connections that you have, the use case will be much more. If you have unpredictable usage, then this database is really good. You can compare the costing. I think it will be same. It's just some new updates in the RDS that we have. So Aurora part is really what we needed as a DevOps,
Mm-hmm.
uh, to suggest to the client if we how we can update the database. So if before like Aurora, what we
Right.
you can also already also do is you can select MySQL, okay, and then you can have a read replica of this MySQL, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So that way, like most of based on again your application usage, if your application is like 50-50 read and write, then it will save you lots of resource. If it your application is more on the read part, then you will save even more. But if your application require much more of write application, sorry, write functionality, then you can use the hybrid cache approach where you can write in the cache instead of database, and from cache you can write to the database later on, or on intervals, things like that. And but with having the read replica, it will save lots of effort and load on the main database that you will be writing on. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it replicates almost instantly. That like it is not noticeable in most of the cases. So
Okay.
yeah, so this is one of the option that we have, Amazon RDS and RDS with Aurora that we have auto scaling database, and it will save lots in costing.
Right.
Another
So actually, Dheeraj, you are out from the frame. So like,
ah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay. I didn't
yeah,
see that. Okay,
yeah,
so another thing is we can think about, okay, so we have another component of the Laravel application, that is file storage, okay. So
yeah.
file storage, again, there are multiple way to store the file. First thing is store on the same application, same server, but that is very costly, okay. And also it is not uh, practical. And in terms of, if you use, for example, uh, EC2 auto scaling. So we were talking about the auto scaling EC2. So if you just store on the one machine, then if your request go to another machine, then it is not possible to access. So then we have S3, where you have infinite scale, infinite storage.
Hmm.
But for yeah, but for cost optimization, if I talk about, so what you have, S3 storage classes, right? So based on the database, some files that is needed on the on priority basis or frequently, but there are files, for example, you uploaded 5 years ago, and that is not needed all the time. So based on the life cycle and the last usage of the data of the file that you have, you can change the storage class of the file, and it will automatically save your cost. For example, if you see, these are the different storage classes, okay. So for example, this is general purpose, where you are charged even where you are charged highest, okay. This is for the day to day. And for unknown if you don't, if you are not sure that when you have to change the file classes to the older one. So this is S3 intelligent tiering. So what it will do is it will automatically look for the file, and then it will see when it was used last, how frequently it was used, and then automatically it will change the storage class of this file to the infrequent access or something. So your bill will be reduced for the overall access. And then you have things like infrequent access, then archive where you can put the data, database backup, or say even older file where user is not there. Even if user has deleted the account, some applications or some compliance needs to store their data for 6 months or say 1 year. So in that case, instead of keeping that in a standard storage, you can store them in an archive. These are only needed for the legal purposes mostly. So in that
Okay.
case, later on in archive, you can specify if this folder in archive is more than 1 year, automatically deletes that.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you have Glacier.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was about to ask like what is the S3 glacier?
just like that, Glacier is a large block of data where water it the water released from the glacier very slowly. So it's just like that. You store the data, archive data, but it is very hard to get the water out of it, or say using that data. So it's just like that. It is hard archive file, but instead of paying for the storage, you also pay for the accessing that data.
Hmm.
Yeah, because for example, you hardly need in like last 2 3 years. Okay, so
Right.
you are okay to pay for to access. Okay, if you are saving like 90% in the storage cost, then it will be okay for you to pay for the 1 or 2 time access in a month or year or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So whenever someone is like asking that
I
we
need
need your three
data
months of
from,
data hours. Yeah,
yeah, I need data of 2018 for that important
yeah,
purpose. So in that
yeah,
case, you are okay to like have 90% cost saving per month, and then paying for only one time for the accessing that
yeah.
data. Yeah,
Right.
so even archive has three level, like
Mm-hmm.
there is a S3 Glacier instant retrieval, and then flexible retrieval, and then there is a deep archive. So even that has three level based on the even how frequently you want to
Right.
access or not, right? So things like that, you can save a lot in the costing part over here.
Right.
And yeah, you just need to define the uh, uh, life cycle of the storage. So you can create a rule in the S3 bucket or S3 folder, and then you can define the life cycle. It will ask, like, it will have the parameters like how frequently it should be used or accessed, and otherwise if you are not sure, then you can go for the intelligent tiering. it will
Right.
it will do automatically. So that's the storage part. And also if we are talking about the scale and storage, so we can use the CloudFront. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll show CloudFront, sorry, plus S3. Okay, so this is how your CloudFront plus S3 looks like. So basically,
Mm, I think we lost Dheeraj somehow. Hmm. Okay, let me ask him.
uh, I don't know how
Okay, you're
it
back.
dropped. Yeah, I think it was dropped. I don't know how.
Uh-huh.
Let me share my screen again, and I don't know
Yeah.
where I dropped. Okay, so I think I shared this one, right?
No.
Okay, so I was talking about
You are doing Google search for CloudFront.
yes. So I was doing the CloudFront plus S3. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
you have file or image stored in your S3 bucket. Okay, but your user is like in the entire world, all the containers your user is present. So
Right.
what CloudFront will do is it will take a copy of that file based on the frequency of the access. Okay, and it will store at that location, location of the user or the nearest data center of that user. So it
Yeah.
will, and so it will if you seeing your S3 bill, so what it will do is it will have storage cost, it will have access cost as well. Okay, so your access to that file will be reduced, access cost of that file will be reduced, and also the performance to the user will be increased if your file is stored in their edge location. Okay, however, you have to pay for the CloudFront cost, but again, the ROI is better since user is getting instant access of the file, and it reduce the access time anywhere between, like, file that might take two seconds to download, it gets downloaded in instantly, like in 50 millisecond, things like that. So it drastically improve your site performance if you have lots of images or static data in your website or application. Yeah. So that's one thing on the S3 part. Mm, and also we can use the hybrid of the third party storage with the CloudFront. Since we are talking about the AWS, so we'll stick to the AWS ecosystem over here. So CloudFront plus S3 is the another option to scale your storage as well as scale your delivery of the file to the user. Okay,
Right.
and I think okay, so we can move to the next section. So that is,
Lambda.
sorry,
Lambda.
Lambda. I think we covered. So we are in the terms of Laravel application, we have divided basically in three, four different part of the application. One is PHP processing. Okay, another we cover the database. Now we cover the
Right.
file storage.
Storage.
Okay, and
Mm.
now we can jump into the uh, infrequent stuff like
Caching.
caching, queues, events, things like that.
Use. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So uh,
Okay.
next part will be as we can like we can see we have SQS,
Yeah.
simple queue service. So uh, see, Laravel already having lots of functionality of event processing, queue processing, things like that. But if you do that on server, it will be costly, both in terms of CPU usage, okay, and both in terms of like management of those resource and frequency, and also for
Right.
example, you might have 20% load occupied by these processes, okay, and at that time if there are lots of user already present, so in that case you cannot trust, like suddenly the performance of the user will go down. Okay, so the
Right.
so better approach will be is to separate out these processes from the main Laravel application, and what we say is right person for the right job. Okay, so here we
Yeah.
can use the right service for the right process that we have. So we can use the SQS for the queue processing, we can use SNS for the notification. Okay, it is having lots of functionalities and connections, webhooks, and lots of stuff. But that you can use for sending the notifications, and you can use SCS for sending the email. Okay,
SES.
yes,
Mm.
SCS. So services like this, if you plug with your Laravel application, it will offload lots of process that Laravel have to do it manually on its server, and then you can separately manage all the bits and pieces and stuff for that services. For example, you might not have all the control of the events with the Laravel, but dedicated service of the AWS, it will have much more controls, settings, and options for that event. And it not only that, it can also trigger third through the third party webhook, or it can have some better monitoring through the CloudWatch directly, instead of you doing everything with your Laravel and Telescope and things like that, right? So SCS, SQS, these are the options. Also, if you want to go to the caching, then you have dedicated Elastic Cache.
Elastic
And
Cache.
yes, so in terms of cost optimization, why I'm just giving you introduction of this one, because uh, just uploading this from the Laravel application, okay, and using the dedicated service. Remember, only do it on
Mhm.
when you are having you are going to scale. If you use these third party these services initially in your application, you will see lots of cost, okay. And even your say, suppose you are using lots of cache service and things like that, but if your CPU is idle, okay, so in that case there is no point of
Right.
using these services if you are having idle CPU, okay. You do this only when you are having lots of traffic, okay, and you want to have separate EC2 just to maintain the Laravel application, and these services can maintain all the infrequent part or dedicated service of the Laravel, events,
Right.
queues, things like that. So there is one way to use the Elastic Cache, okay.
Yeah.
If you think that caching is costly for you, Elastic Cache is costly, what you can do is you can have just don't use the caching on the same machine, if especially if you are using the auto scaling. So
Yeah.
because it will not have access again, it will have dependency on the machine, but request
Mhm.
is not going to be on the same machine. So yeah, so that's a cache part. So I think we covered lots of stuff,
Most of the things.
most of the
Mhm.
thing that Laravel have, okay, yeah. And few thing that you have to keep in mind is uh, security of your cloud entirely. Like don't leak your AWS credential, because if it is leaked, then somebody can use it and it will launch lots of machines, and it will eat up your cost. Second, if there are certain stuff that you got overcharged, then there is option to you can talk to the AWS support team, billing
Right.
team. They will help you on that. They are very technical, okay. They will get into the detail of the resources that you are using. They will suggest you best practices to be used, and they will ensure that you have done everything from your end, and after that
Okay.
they will help you on the cost part as
Mhm.
well.
So one question I have, like,
Hmm.
I was working in my previous company, and they were saying that we should never, like, expose our S3 bucket URL.
Yeah.
Is it
So again, it's depend on the use case. But yes, there are multiple way to, for example, if you want to give access to the user, like file access to the user, there are two way. One way is to provide them signed URL. Basically, Laravel or any application can
temporary
generate
URL?
the
Yeah.
signed URL and it will work temporarily. Second, you can there will be a URL generated with the CloudFront. So if you are using CloudFront, you don't have to have public facing or public access S3. It will just connect to the S3 CloudFront, and then CloudFront will have that URL
Yeah.
for that particular resource. Okay.
Yeah.
So based on that, you don't have
So I
to.
mean, yeah, what can be, what issues we can face if like someone know about our S3 URL? I mean, the S3, then the region, and then the our S3 bucket name and whatever it is. I mean,
So it's just like they can just again, if you have managed the permissions and everything. For example, there is a long URL, okay, and
right?
only the last part access I have given to you, okay.
Hmm.
Last part access I have given to you. So even with somebody with the automated board, they cannot find any other folder. They cannot drivers or check
Okay,
any.
it is just about like they will guess the other files names,
Maybe,
right?
yeah, that could be the use case. Yeah, again, but if you are managing everything properly, then it should not cause any issue.
Right. So
Yeah,
we can
otherwise
even yeah, we
we
can
can
even
even,
have private files, right?
right, we can definitely have our private files as soon as it is not accessible. So
Right.
uh,
Okay. So Deep is asking that is the price of data out same in the all types? Oh, I don't know.
all
What he
types
is
of
trying
what?
to ask.
Just a second.
Yeah, that is what.
Let me see if I can see the question. Is what about the S3 with the CloudFront and caching?
Yeah, that we already covered.
Okay, is the price of data out in the same in all types? Okay, all
Hmm.
types. I think he means storage class that we talked, different storage class of the AWS.
Okay, yeah, that can be, yeah.
Yeah. So yes. So again, I was talking. So basically, in S3, you pay in two way, storing of the file and the how much access of that file has been done. Okay,
Hmm.
as you change the storage classes and you move it to the infrequent access, your storage cost get reduced, but your access cost get added. Okay, so I think access cost is same, but yeah, it will get a bit increase once you move to the more infrequent access classes like Glacier or infrequent access, things like that. So yeah, there will be extra cost. So you can just go through the S3 pricing, and you'll see the price for each classes that we have.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm. There was one more question.
Okay, so the CloudFront is like what Cloudflare would do. Yes. So Cloudflare, yes, Cloudflare do the caching in the front end, the for the resources, and
Hmm.
yes, and also it manage the bad request. So
Right.
basically, that request doesn't goes to your server. CloudFront or Cloudflare automatically manages that,
Right.
and it blocks any suspicious requests of like that. Or even if the load is high, then it can manage that part for you.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, one of the question is we can even host a static site on a S3 bucket, right?
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah.
So there are multiple way for doing that. For example, just make a bucket, make it public, and put the file. You will have the DNS of that bucket, and then use that DNS behind your domain name.
Domain. Hmm.
Another way is to use the CloudFront, so that will
Hmm.
be even faster. CloudFront will again provide you the URL, and that URL you can put behind
Yeah,
the
but it will
DNS.
gonna cost us, right?
Yes, it
The
will
cloud
cost
front.
us. Yes, unless you don't have lots of static data for that EC2,
Yeah.
that website and lots of user is not using, then you can avoid the
Yeah.
CloudFront. You
So
can
right
just use
now,
the.
right now I'm using Cloudflare pages, right?
Mhm.
Which is
Okay.
even like
Yes.
1 lakh request per day is free. So
Okay.
for
Uh,
my site.
okay. So there is another option that I can use or you can use, that is GitHub. Uh,
Yeah.
GitHub pages. So they don't
Yeah.
have even any limitations like that, static site or
Hmm.
something if you have. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but see, it gives the analytics, right? Uh,
Yeah,
so like
it
the
doesn't
Cloudflare
give
pages.
analytics. Yeah, it doesn't give analytics. GitHub doesn't do that. But if you can connect
Hmm.
the Google Analytics, then it can give you some analytics. But yeah,
Yeah.
Cloudflare might be giving much more.
So even see in a Cloudflare you can host a worker for free as well, right?
Oh yeah, okay, right. Yeah,
So you
that's
can see
a
you can have some backend APIs with the
backend
Node.js
APIs.
and
Right, right.
yeah, for
Yeah,
free.
yeah, that is even better option.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, I think it was a good. Well, what do you have anything to say? Do you guys any have sorry. Um, do you guys have
And
any questions to ask? You can do that, and if not, can just move ahead. Do you want to share anything before we end this? Uh, yeah.
Not specifically, but yes, you also need to know how to explore your billing dashboards. So you can go through some tutorial. We don't have time for that, but yeah, how to there are sometime what you will see is you are getting paid, you are getting billed, but you don't know where the stuff is. So everything gets compiled to one thing, that is billing, and
Yeah.
billing is global.
Yeah.
So from billing you can find which region has what resource at what point and charging what. So sometime you are working on the five regions, okay, and you don't know you have some unused resource using in
Uh,
sitting idle in some region. So
right.
uh,
So like we also have some alarm systems, right?
alarm system, right, and there is
Yeah.
optimization option as well in the billing dashboard. It will suggest
Right.
you the right size of the EC2 or RDS based on the previous
Right.
usage. So things like that you should definitely explore these part as well, so it will help a lot in the cost optimization.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think no one have any questions. If they will have, they will try to reach out. So you can share your socials and all.
Sure. So yeah, I'm available on X with it's dheeraj.me. Everything
Mm-hmm.
is like I think you shared already. So yeah, it's dheeraj.me. Yeah, so it's dheeraj.me is my website. So everything is there. So all the
Mm-hmm.
links is present over here. So
Okay.
yeah, it's not updated, but yeah, links are there. So hardly I get time to update. So it is,
Right.
yeah. But anybody can reach me. You can see my photo on Instagram. Sometimes
Yeah.
I write article on Medium, and I stay active on X mostly. Yeah.
I'm just updating the descriptions. So yeah,
Yes. Sure.
I added your site to the description.
Okay. Yeah,
Mm.
that will work. Perfect.
Yeah. Just yes.
Okay. So
Yes. Okay, thanks for joining, guys. See you tomorrow. And one announcement is there, like on Wednesday, we will have a one special talk on the Android development with the PHP. Right, so stay tuned for that. I will announce soon. Okay, thanks for joining. Thanks, Dheeraj, to give a like the insightful session.
thank you, Punipa.
Okay,
It is
yeah.
really nice. Bye.